So this video is going to cover what you can do if you're facing this issue. You're generating leads with cold email, but you're not actually booking calls. So in other words, you're getting a bunch of interested replies, but they're not actually converting into calls. Now, there are a few possible explanations for why this happens, and I'm going to tell you how to basically solve the issue. First one is what I call peripheral trust factors. And basically, these are all the different factors regarding you and your company that exist outside of your email. So this is your website, this is your LinkedIn page, this is everything they can find on Google about you. And most prospects will do some due diligence before they actually book a call. And so it's really important to not neglect this, right? It's like having a YouTube channel, having a well-built website and LinkedIn page. This is going to make a huge difference, especially if those different parts of your online identity also contain social proof, case studies, and other reasons to trust you. So the first thing, as I mentioned, getting a professional website, having extremely clear copywriting on the website. I see a lot of times people just don't have clear copywriting. People don't really know what exactly they do. And because people skim websites so fast, this is pretty much unacceptable. So you got to explain really fast on your first landing page why they should trust you, what do you do, how exactly do you do it, do you have any sort of unique mechanism you're leveraging, etc. So these are all things that they have to know. And as I mentioned, also having an optimized LinkedIn company page and your own profile. These are very important things. They can see that, okay, you've been running this business for so and so many years. This is your previous experience. This is where you're from, etc. Like all these things just can generate a lot of trust. So you really want to do that. You can also consider doing a VSL structure. So this is a video sales letter, basically on your website, where the first thing they see is a video which contains a bunch of information about your offering, about your product or your service that they can then watch. And based on that, you can show them social proof, you can show them how things work. Pretty much all the stuff you would otherwise have on your website, you can put inside that video sales letter. And also just, as I mentioned, more social proof on your website and online, showing that you have worked with a bunch of companies, and ideally if you have a lot of companies that people even know, if it's like bigger enterprise companies, this is even better. But even just mentioning regular companies that you have worked with is really important because it does help people trust you. Another thing is follow-ups, because this is obviously, pretty important these days. People get a lot of emails. And so if you want to be the one that stands out, you actually got to do a lot of follow-ups. Because I can even say for myself, sometimes I get a cold email, I'm mildly interested, I respond, and then they reply to me with whatever they have, and then I'm like, okay, cool, I'll take a look at that later. But then later never comes, and I forget about it, even though I was interested. So you got to have a very solid follow-up plan. Now, one thing that I would recommend doing if you are facing these issues is to send follow-ups quicker. So let's say somebody has a positive response, you respond to them, and then the day after, you follow up if they have not responded, right? So like really fast follow-ups. A lot of people, they respond, and then 7 days later, they'll follow up. Try doing it the day after, and then also the day after that. Just follow up, because you got to really get them on that call while they have the interest in your offerings. The other one is omni-channel follow-ups. So if you can, give them a call as well, connect with them on LinkedIn, implement different channels, because it might be easier to get in contact with them in that sort of way. So you got to try this as well in conjunction with the more frequent and faster follow-ups, as I mentioned before. You can also use the 2x structure for long-term follow-ups. So instead of like, I'll basically explain what that means. So instead of like following up with people for 2 weeks and then giving up, basically what you can do is you can send a follow-up email and then double the interval of days and then send one again. So you can send one on day 1 after they haven't responded, day 2, day 4, day 8, day 16, 32, and then it sort of just becomes a newsletter at that point. Like you're doubling the range in between your follow-ups, but you're still engaging them, right? And sometimes when you do this, you can actually land a client 6 months down the road simply because you implemented this 2x structure for your follow-ups, where you keep doubling the time interval in between follow-ups and just do that pretty much in perpetuity. Also, you can mix up your automatic follow-up flows with personalized, relevant follow-ups. So instead of just having this flow I talked about be just a bunch of automated emails, you can actually personalize it to each prospect if you have the resources to do so. So actually, like, mentioning stuff that's relevant to them, relevant case studies, talking about something they mentioned on the call, giving them specific ideas that you've come up with after the call, just being very personalized about it can definitely help. So these are the things I would recommend for optimizing the follow-up part of things. The next thing is the post-interest lead management. So this is basically how you manage leads after they've showed interest. This is similar to the follow-up one, but it's a bit different. Basically, it's like the first response you give them after they've shown interest. Now, one thing you can do if you're not booking people in is personalize this initial response more. So instead of just sending a generic overview or a generic deck, you can personalize it more to them and just mention stuff that's relevant for them in that initial email. Also, you can try making it either longer or shorter. I find that in some cases, people just make it way too short and there's not enough information to book a call. And in some cases, people give a whole book of information in that email and the prospect just deletes it because it's too much information. So try, if you have a very long one, try making it a bit shorter. If you have a very short one, try making it longer. That's what I would recommend trying. And also you can change the call to action. So if you don't have a direct call to action, like directly getting on a call, you can try doing that. You can be more direct, but you can also try to basically have a longer conversation over email. So instead of pushing for that call, if that doesn't seem to work, you can have a longer like back and forth on email, which might then in turn make them ready to actually book the call. And the last one I want to mention is optimizing speed to lead. This is simple and self-explanatory. There is so much literature out there that there have been studies on this, how important speed to lead is in actually optimizing the percentage of people that are interested after you respond to them, right? So they want to book a call, etc. This is really important. And so what you can do to optimize this is obviously just like responding faster, having a notification system where you get that notification every time there's a positive response, you can get back to them faster. So that is pretty much all the things that should be tried to get people to book a call if you're having issues with converting positive replies into booked meetings. Now, if none of this works at all and you're still facing this issue, you probably need to rethink your offer, because then it might be an offer problem at that point. If you're getting so many positive responses, but they don't actually want to commit to hopping on a call, it might show that this pain point you're solving is not that urgent, it's not that pertinent for them, and so they don't want to hop on a call about it. So that might be something where you have to look back at your offer and think about it. So I hope this video was helpful. Thanks for watching and have a good day.